Hi, in today's video, I am going to, because we already finished the basic CentOS introduction, we finished the OS setup and finished the copy from or clone using the virtual box to easily to spend 1 to 5 VM already. And also we covered the basic the depth of command, like how to check the CPU, how to check the memory, and how to use the clone tab to schedule some task, and also how to check a log, for example. Now from today, we're going to go for some real project which may happen in your production environment. The first project is called install called LAMP, LAMP, right? This is L for the Linux. Every people know that. So you can either use the Ubuntu or use the CentOS or Red Hat. Usually in a production environment, if you are working for some like some company, usually should be Red Hat. You need to get support, right? CentOS is free, but you cannot get support. And then A just means the Apache. Apache is just for the web server. This is very popular. It's free, open source, and actually later we will have another architecture called LAMP, LNMP. In that case, you can see L and P is the same. Only difference is second. One is A, one is N, and that times the N for the NGX. Right? This is another good web server, but this one is more powerful actually. You not only provide the web services, you also provide the load balance, also include some proxy function. This will be our second project, right? First project for LNP first, right? But for M, that mean mysql. This is a very famous open source, also called MariaDB. These two actually are very similar to each other. First, this MySQL comes first, and then later on, maybe the same people from the MySQL team, they build a MariaDB. So there's some match, like MySQL 5.5 is equal to MariaDB 5.5 version. But MySQL 5.6, then MariaDB will change to the version 10.0. But all the concept, all command, they are similar, right? They are all call the correlation, called SQL database. We call SQL. Maybe you know that this is a term in the database. There are two big categories. One is called SQL, the other called NoSQL database. I will not cover the detail, but you can read some document by yourself. Then, if we refer to NoSQL database, then M means MongoDB, right? So also there's a lot of NoSQL database like Redis, like the Cache or some MongoDB, right? So we will try to cover them. This is called M. Like P just means some language used for the web. The most popular is called PHP, right? But we can also refer to Perl. Perl is some script language using in Linux. It's DevOps. If you can use shell, also you can Perl to do some script. Also, the other very famous and popular is Python. I think a lot of you already know that, right? Like OpenStack is based on the Python. It's a script. It can have a lot of function, not only for the DevOps, but also for some web, right? It has some very famously web frame, like a Django or like the Flask K. So P me here. So in this short video, we will cover the first project of LAMP. LNP will be my second project. I will show you use a demo, show you how to install one by one. And no matter for which software, they always has the different installation method. First, they call IPM. RPM, just like YAML, right? You just use one command, then this RPM will download the package, then install everything for you. The other is called from the source code installation. You can download the code and binary by yourself, right? This is another one. The third one is called binary. You can just because finally everything should be compiled with the binary. So with the binary, you can easily to installation. So in our course, I will just show you how to do the RPM installation. Before that, we need to download the package first, right? So we need to use this called wget command. But by default, wget command didn't come when you finish the basic or minimum CentOS installation. So you need to use our very good tool called yarn install. I already installed it in advance to save your time because my internet is not very good, so it takes some time. So already you can see first time I use the wget, it tell you command not found. So I use yarn install. That's why I just mean answer yes for all the question. Then you go to the internet repository and go to some mirror, right? Then download and everything is done. Then after that, I just use wget. Just you can see it's just called headless browser. When you use the Chrome or likely Firefox, you have some GUI to open some page to download, right? wget just like a headless. They don't have GUI. You use the command line. Then the URL should be exactly the same. Then you can, if you know it, for example, I use this Chrome and to find out which version I should go. Then I just copy the link. Then use log into this node 2, use wget. Then you can begin download right away, right? You can see everything download. Then I save to my temporary my home should be here. I'm using root, so I save to my own folder here, right? And also I also download MariaDB to save some time. But you can see here because my let's hear some tip here. Because my computer can support IPv4 and IPv6 at the same time. You may know that when system has IPv4 and IPv6 called dual stack, they always try to use IPv6 first. Only when IPv6 fail, then fall back to IPv4. So for some reason, my home cannot use the IPv6. You can see this one. If I didn't do any parameter, you try the IPv6, right? Go to here, but connecting this stage take a longer time. I don't know why. I need to check some setting, but because for me it doesn't matter IPv4 or IPv6. I just want to download this file. So I use the -4 to force it use IPv4 only, right? So this time very quick. I download it. So currently I has two file download. One's MariaDB, one's MySQL, right? Both of them, like I say, MySQL 5.5 equal to MariaDB 5.5. But from 5.6, MariaDB 22.10 or something. So basically they are the similar version. I just want to show you one by one. We will begin from MySQL first. So every time when you are trying to do some installation, usually based on the tradition, you should always go to a local src. This is a command in the CentOS for some third-party or external package installation. You can see currently the category is empty because I haven't installed anything yet. So let's go into that folder. I will try to download it and copy. Sorry, download is finished. Just give me a second. Let me copy the command here. Okay. Because I already finished download, so now I just need to copy my source file to here, right? We will begin from this MySQL first, as I say. I just copy and paste, then copy to this source, right? Now we have one source file here. Maybe I can do the same thing and to copy the other MariaDB because finally I need to install both. As I say here, just for demo, right? In a real case, you no need install both of them. You just need to install one of them. It depends on your deployment team, which database they select, right? We can go either way, but the installation and maintain should be similar. So this is usually we should just save the source code or the original RPM in this folder, but you can save whatever you want. But this is just based on the kind of standard. I can say standard, but for sure, if you have your preference, it should be okay. Then after I copy it, I should lay a tar file. First, I need to untar lay. Tar command is very useful when you try to do some archive multiple file and folder together. So here I just use the command to, because here if you use C, that means you create a tar file. If you want to untar, use X. Okay. So here mysql. Okay. You can see there's thousands of file and a lot of folder layer. They are all come in one tar file. So tar file is easy for you try to transfer from one computer to the other computer. But when you go to the other computer, you need to untar it for sure. Okay, now we already finished the untar. You can see automatically build one category here, the folder. We can just take some look to see what's inside. You can see a lot of different folder under that. So now we need to, because this is called source file, right? So now we need to try to copy everything to the real working folder, right? Source file just for some as a backup purpose, but for the real working folder, there's some by default setting. So usually, again, because this is third-party one, so by standard, we should just copy, go to here, local, right? Let me see. Yeah. So we should copy the real working folder and working file to under to here. So let's do some movement, right? Because we can do copy for sure, but copy will do a copy. You let one file to occupy two file hard disk. So in our case, we just use this one to move or just rename to the new folder. So we can still keep one copy to save some hard disk. So we copy to here. We build a new mysql folder. Okay, now it's okay. Let's go to layer to see. You can see we move some folder under source code to this mysql. Okay, so yeah, now we already finished the file preparation. We are ready to begin installation. But before we do the reinstallation, there's two conditions or two requests we need to finish in advance. First is just to add one user called mysql. This is a requirement because when mysql power on or boot or start, they need to use the mysql as the username. The second is you need to create a folder to save the database, right? When you create a data, there is some table. You need to let the mysql installation script know where to save the real data and where to save log, for example. So we use the regular command to create a folder, also add a new mysql user. For this mysql user, because there's no people will really use the mysql to log in, right? They just when a mysql running, they use this UID. But this one no need to some people really use mysql to log in. So you can just add it, but no need to set a password. So this is the security setting. So no people can use the mysql to log in to your system. In the same time, we need to build a new folder called data. And when you use the running MySQL script, you need to tell it use this MySQL as the UID and tell it where to store your data, right? You can store whatever you want, but in our case, I just store in the root. Then we just use we go to here, go to the MySQL, then go to the script. Here's some script. This is the script we want just to install the MySQL database. You can see here by default, it already has the X here. When you see the X, that means this one, R just means readable, W means is write, and X that means it can be execute. So you can see the colors are different. Every time when you see color is green, that means this is called executable, right? And also here you can see, I know you may have some knowledge of the basic Linux, right? This one means this UID. The owner is belong to root, I think. And this is the UID, the privilege. Second just mean the GID. That means some people, it's not you, but they are in the same group. Then you can have this read, can execute, but you cannot write, right? You can see here the dash here. And this means other. That means some people is not you, also not belong to the same group. Totally other people, what privilege they can do for this specifier. Okay, in my case, I just use the MySQL install db, then dash user equal to MySQL. This user we just created minutes ago, then define the data dir, right? We also again I tell it to store it in the data. Also I created a sub children folder called MySQL under the data. Okay, then I think there's some error there before Perl. Okay, so here you can see we have installed a Perl. Because this MySQL DB maybe uses some script which run in a Perl. So they need to run Perl, but because we haven't installed Perl yet, so let's install the yarn install -y Perl to give it. Okay, I want to explain. Usually, I do some Google search based on the error we found because it tells you that I install some Perl module, right? So I just use this command to install this Perl, right? Perl dump, right? Again, internet is very good. So anytime if you find something you don't know, you just copy the error, then go to the Google, you will find answer right away. In our case, remember when we set up the Center OS, we select a minimum installation because I want to show how to install piece by piece, right? So we always facing some issue that we miss some module, so we need to install. In the real production environment, usually you should not do that way. You should install some like a server or like some another bundle which already comes with a lot of pre-installed module layer, so you can no need to install one by one later on. Also in the production, you always try to build something called golden image or golden template. That means you install everything and verify that everything's okay. Then you use the golden template to copy or clone to rest host. They will save you a lot of time. Okay, so we already finished this module. Let's do this one again to give it a try. Here's still some another error. I think we need to install more module. Let me check. I think I find a reason. You can see here, if I use the Go script, right? I use the same command install here. Yeah. So you should there's some error, but you need to pay attention to some information because this is called a binary release, right? So you can either at top of the Linux architecture, the arcade, right, or provide a base dir because I'm already in this script itself. So if I didn't define a base dir by default, you're saying base dir is in here. just in this folder, but this folder don't have anything, so that's why install fail. So to avoid that, I need to go to the this is called the base dir. The base dir has a lot of subfolder here. I should be here to run this command. So this command will know the base dir is here. So you can go to like a bin or go to other place to find out the script then to install in the system. So I already installed it already. Let me try again. So because I'm in the parent folder, I want to run some script under the children folder. So I need to use this .min current folder, then this subfolder. Sorry, I should use the script, I think. A script. Okay. Yeah. Then I define which UID I should use and which the data folder I should use. Right. Now you can see everything is okay. You can just begin to installation again. So every time when you finish that, I would suggest you always use this command. How can you know this finish is okay or no? One way, you can just read the list here. It didn't say any error, so it should be okay. But to be safe, I would suggest use this command called echo $? If you return 0, that means the previous command result is 0. It's okay. If you find any number is not 0, like 1, so that means it's some error. I think we can just go to here to check, right? So yeah, later on I think I will try to show you again. But anyway, every time when you finish the installation, please run this command. Only when you find out 0, then it's okay. Then go to next step. If not 0, that means something wrong with the previous installation. Please do go back to double check and run the command again. You need to fix all the issue before you move to the next step. Otherwise, if you move to the other step and find the issue, it's very hard for you to troubleshooting. You don't know this error generated from which step, right? Now the install is finished, but we need to also make sure the configuration file is installed properly. Also, we need to add this mysql to the init.d. So that means next time when the system boot, this mysql will be daemon will be automatically be start. So let's do it. When the mysql come in, it already has some default support file. You just copy this file to the system configuration. Once this mysql configure file, it has some parameter setting when the mysql come out, right? There's some suggestion value here, and you copy to this -etc. And so next time mysql power on, you can read this parameter from that file. The second is this mysql server, and you add it to the init.d, just like a system cmd. So this will let CentOS know when CentOS power on, you begin to run this mysql. You begin this daemon layer. So let's do some copy. Support file my default. Then we copy to the etc my.cnf. This is by default configuration file. Yes. And almost all the third-party application, they all save the configuration file in -etc, right? So we just copy to layer, and then next time mysql power on or start, they will know from this folder, this file, to read the default parameter layer. The second is like I need to copy support again to this mysql.server to this etc.init.d mysqld. Okay. The reason is if you didn't do that, then every time when you boot your CentOS, the mysql daemon will not start by yourself. You need to manually type in mysql. I don't want to do that. I want to listen mysql come online when every time when OS boot, right? So also remember we defined some some base dir and so data dirt. So we need to let this mysql to know where to find the real data, right? So let's just add that one. Base dir, okay? Okay, here, right? This is two parameter you need to define by yourself. You can see the system leave empty here. You need to tell them the base dir is called user local mysql. Remember, this is we install in the source in the dash user slash user local src, right? That's in source code. But for the real installation, the binary file we install under the mysql is called base dir. Then for the data, they should be in here, right? This also defined when we use the initiate script, we define the data dir layer. So I think I should be okay right now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we finished all the configuration. Now I think we can just to also one more thing. You can see currently we only have two tasks be running when the system power on, right? Again, here sorry about that I didn't mention. This CHK config is for CentOS 6, but still can usable in the CentOS 7. I just want to show you how to use the CHK config to do some setting here. And CentOS 7 can use the system MD. I already showed you in the previous video. Use that to manage some services, but the concept, the procedure should be the same. So here I just let you to add the mysql, right? Because I already copy this mysql to the init folder. So use this command. You can add this one into chk config. Now you can see this mysql already be added into the list. So next time when system power on, mysql will run automatically. But this is just for the next time the power on, the mysql will be run automatically, but that doesn't mean currently, because currently I didn't do any reboot. So I can give you, you can see mysql, you cannot see anything, right? Now just let's use that command, dash etc dash init.d mysql d called start, right? This if you're familiar with CentOS 6, you use start to start daemon, store to store daemon, restart to restart something. And when you use the CentOS 7, go to the system MD. It's the same concept, right? So let's here just let it to start it, right? Okay, successful. That means the configuration for the base dir and for the data dir you set is correct, right? Everything is okay. So now just like a PS to double check again. Here we go. We can see now the mysql is running. You can see here, right? Base is this one is we typing called base dir, and this one is what we provide, right? And rest is just by default, right? You basically you just need to define what's the base dir, what's your data dir. And you may know that lesson port assigned by default to the mysql is called 3306. When this boot on, mysql will begin to listen on the 3306. So when the client connect to it, they can provide response, right? So in here we can use this next step command. This I also introduced already in previous video called lnpp. Okay, you can see here they begin to listen to the 3306. Also is in here. Let me, yeah. I don't know why the V6 is TCP 6. Anyway, I will try later on. I think it should be IPv4, but maybe both on IPv6 and IPv4. But anyway, you can see he already be uploaded currently. Let's start the -an, then grab 3330 set to C, give it a try. Okay, so there only one. Yeah. Later, when we do a real testing, I will test if a connector for VP IPv4 is okay or no. We can troubleshoot later on. Okay, I think that's almost everything for this MySQL. I will start here. In the next video, I will introduce this MariaDB installation. It should be the similar. Thank you.